Don't you hate it when you finally realize your own toxic trait? Whenever you're on a vacation in Puerto Rico and you realize that you've been emotionally cut off since you were a kid. And that's why relationships have never really worked out. As much as you try to give and as much of an empathetic person you are and you think you're giving everything that you can and doing all the actions right, you are always missing the underlying emotion itself. And then it makes sense and it clicks because whenever you were a kid, you never shared your emotions either. You didn't laugh in the moment. You didn't share any emotions in the moment. You always lived outside of the moment because you're self-aware and you always tried to please everybody else and live in their world and be what they wanted, but you never really truly were yourself. And then you remember that's why you don't actually remember your childhood and you don't remember a lot of stuff even as a teenager because you cut it all out because you had no emotions to connect the memory to. That's why core memories are so prevalent, is because they're connected to a heavy memory, a heavy feeling, a heavy emotion. And then you realize you've always lived outside of the moment. You've never truly lived in the moment. You've always tried to manipulate the moment for comfort, to be inclusive, to feel safe. You gave everybody else everything and you gave yourself nothing because you never truly lived in the moment. You were taught that love is a certain way, and you were taught that love is only conditional upon certain beliefs. And then you realize this whole time you've had a totally different idea of what love was. And then when you finally discover it, you've always discovered it too late. Because you always feel after the moment, but never when you're entirely in. Because you've always been afraid of the moment. What happens to the time after? It's unpredictable. So we always lived in preparation. Yeah, don't you hate that?